Tonight, you'll see its beginnings, and I hope you'll learn to appreciate it a bit more. It's the Masonic Temple. The Masonic Temple is Scranton's Civic Theater. It is a 9-level building with 6 above-ground floors and 3 floors below ground level. It took 3 years to build, but its roots go back to 1917. Ed Frey is the managing director of Scranton's Masonic Temple.
So beginning in 1917, they started to lay plans to acquire property, to determine where the property should be, and so forth, which led to the acquisition of the Dixon property, which was a mansion located on this spot next to the library here.
The committee formed to get construction going wanted the Masonic Temple to be a showcase, an architectural monument that would serve the community for generations. Architects around the country and the world were asked to compete with their designs.
6 architects, 2 of them from Scranton, did present proposals for the building. And from those 6, Raymond Hood of New York was selected as having presented the most outstanding design. The project was large enough that they had labor from all over the country. It required some substantial craftsmanship in carving and painting, decoration, and so forth. So as a result, we run across people all the time who come back to town for the first time in 40 or 50 years and mention that their uncle or their grandfather from someplace in Italy or someplace in Germany was a craftsman who worked on the building at the time.
This is the main lobby. Any of you who visited the Masonic Temple have been here, I'm sure. Over the entrance to the auditorium is the theme of the construction, carved for all to see, to the glory of the grand architect of the universe. But next time you visit the main lobby, take a look up. Take special notice of the ceiling in the main lobby.
Oh, the ceiling in the lobby is interesting because it's the only wood ceiling in the building, and it's hand-carved wood overlaid with gold. Gold, yeah. Unfortunately, thanks to our industrial atmosphere of the 30s and 40s, it doesn't have the sheen of gold any longer, but it's there nonetheless. The only parts of the building that came from outside the country were the main lobbies downstairs, the three lobbies, the theater, ballroom, and center lobby. And the walls down there are travertine marble, which was imported from Italy. The exterior of the building and all the interior appointments are all Indiana limestone. And the floors in the main lobbies downstairs are Indiana bluestone. So the materials themselves, from the basic foundations, the steel work, and the other work on the building, were all materials produced here in the United States.
The Masonic Temple was built around the auditorium. It seats 1,822 people. It has seen hundreds of national and internationally known stars. Sammy Davis Jr. performed here, Jack Benny, Bob Hope, Tom Jones, the Rockettes. The stage was built to be not only visible and acoustically sound, but also fireproof.
The stage in a building which is generally considered fireproof is an area which is very susceptible to fire, simply because of scenery and curtains and the rest. And while that area is sprinkled, the understage storage areas, the dressing rooms, and the stage itself, it's also separated from the ballroom, the theater, by fireproof walls, which, if a fire were to start on the stage, the walls are set to descend at a given rate to close the stage off and make it a cell all by itself. There are also very large doors at the top of the stage, and since the stage is essentially one of the highest points of the building, if there were a fire, the vents open up on the top of the stage and prevent smoke and fire damage to any other part of the building.
I've been here at Scranton's Masonic Temple dozens of times for all kinds of performances, and just like you and your family, sat out there in the audience with the crowd, watched everything that was going on here on the stage. And of course, this is the back curtain to the stage. But I'm finding out something interesting today that I never knew. Maybe it'll be a surprise to you as well. Behind the curtain is another room. It's the ballroom. The ballrooms can seat 1,000 for dinner, or 2,000 without the tables. The stage can be used to entertain a dinner crowd or for a theater in the round. But it's not the only stage in the Masonic Temple. Upstairs is Shopland Hall, also called the Norman Room. The curtain on the stage here is itself a piece of American history.
Those of you who remember the Roxy Theater in New York, Roxy was originally from Pleasant Mount. And when the Roxy Theater closed in New York, he sent the curtains from his main stage up to us. We're happy to have them. Of course, many long years have gone by since that time, but we have a set of curtains for our main stage on the main floor and for our stage in Shopland Hall on the 4th floor. And these were a remembrance from Roxy when the theater closed in New York.
Now take a look at the ceiling in this room. It's a Norman design, intricate in detail, all hand stenciled and hand painted.
The entire ceiling is covered with designs of characters in costume as well as floral designs and the like. And there's no wall. There is no wallpaper in the building. All these designs, and particularly that ceiling, were painted by hand. And the repetitive representations were done with stencils, so that the same thing was true. Here was a guy with an ability to do stencil work who was on top of a scaffold and painting these designs in multiple colors across that ceiling, and it's a substantially large one. It took some time.
The architect who designed this room was so particular, he even designed rugs to match the room. And these plaster ceilings were made ground level and then put up in sections where the work was completed.
The ceilings, I often remark, it's something like Michelangelo and the Sistine Chapel. The ceiling general designs, the basic designs, were cast in 4-foot square plaster blocks on the floor. Then they were put in place while they were still wet, which is why you see no joints whatever in the ceiling. They were joined wet. Then the designs were carved. The fine designs were carved in the blocks. They were left to dry, and then the designs, the painted designs were added to that. And of course the carving and the painting was done by a poor bloke who was laying on his back on the top of a scaffold. You know, maybe not as high as the Sistine Chapel, but certainly just as uncomfortable.
There's one more room you just have to see. It's a much smaller room, but a real work of art. It is the library at the Masonic Temple.
The library itself is paneled in black walnut. And when the building was opened, a clock, a grandfather clock, which was commissioned for the library and also executed in black walnut, was installed, and it's there yet. Subsequently, one of the members of our consistory contracted with or commissioned a local sculptor, Otto Schweitzer, to do a sculpture of the Last Supper. And Schweitzer did execute that in bronze, and it was installed in the library in the 1950s. The plaster cast and a copy of that particular sculpture are in the Smithsonian in Washington.
The stained glass, the gold, the woodwork, the entire building is a tribute to yesterday's craftsmen. In 1930, it was dedicated to the people of Scranton, a gem given to serve the people. Our ancestors planned to make it monumental, and they accomplished their goal.
Monumental is a good word, and from the very bottom of the structure right straight through represents craftsmanship, imagination, engineering detail, which in many senses of the word are still state of the art, which it just flabbergasts me the work, the imagination of Hood as an architect and the work that he did.
Now, right now, the officials who operate the Masonic Temple are working up estimates on what it would cost to restore the building. It needs some work on the roof, and there are some unused rooms that officials do want to utilize. Over the next few weeks, you'll be hearing more about that project and the cost, and I hope that this report has helped you to appreciate another local treasure. When we come back,